Welcome to another watercolor portrait lessons. I'm going to use this portrait painting to answer some of the questions from our members about how to paint the wrinkles, how we start the portrait painting, and how we move forward step by step. When we come to portrait painting and drawing, it's very important to start with the biggest composition. It seems like a very easy to talk about, but and sometimes become a little bit more difficult at the beginning. Okay, I'm gonna looking for what is the overall shape for the whole face area. Use a very light color. So I'm gonna say the top over here and the bottom over here. You don't need to think about anything in between. It's just looking for the biggest shape. And I'm going to use looking for the left and the right is about this kind of shape, the overall form, the biggest form. And okay, like that. So the left side of the face and the head coming all the way over here. So looking for the biggest form. Come on this side. You can use a pencil to draw if you feeling a little bit more safer. Okay, like that. Looking for from the outside to the inside. Okay, now I'm gonna get a little bit inside. And first I'm gonna find out where is the eye. The eye is from the top to the chin. The eye is right in the middle. So I'm going to looking for it. This would be the eye location. That's the vertical, right? And I'm looking for, since this is the location of the face, I already did a little measure and I find out this is the eyebrows right over here. And after the eyebrows to the chin, it goes to from the left side of the face to all the way to the right side of the face. It's just a little bit off into the sideburn. So this is very easy. So I'm going to take this, rotate it. So let's say the left side. I'm going to put a little pencil mark over here and put it on this side. Here you go. I can see now the left side and the right side. That is the sideburn. The sideburn coming in a little bit off in here, like that. This is the sideburn. This is very important because this is the biggest proportion. That's the foundation for from here on into the smaller and smaller based on this big proportion. Okay, now this is good. Now I'm gonna start, and then the bottom over here, the jawline is about over here and coming in like this way. Right, this is good. So the eyebrows and the eyebrows on this side. It looks like I can cut it into approximately the eye space to be from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 5 eyes. But on this side it's a little bit less. So I can do a little mark over here. And then in between a little bit more than 1. And take a look. It looks like the eye can go a little bit more toward the left hand side. So I'm gonna move it a little bit more toward the center. I use the water as the eraser. So I'm not gonna draw too much details at the beginning. So I'm gonna just say the location for the eye is about this much. So I'm gonna move a little bit. So the little triangle shape right over here. There you go. Now I'm gonna have enough room for this side, and then the eyebrows will be in this location. Is keep looking for the biggest proportion and keep looking for big to small. Everything starting from bigger to smaller. Okay, now the next thing I'm gonna looking for vertically from the eyebrows to the chin and a little bit higher than the middle line. That will be the nose. I'm gonna put it over here because she's smiling. So now that's the nose. And then looking for this could be under the cheek and coming on this side like that. Still looking for the biggest one, and also looking for the darkest line, the darkest shape. A member just posted a portrait. She enforced the lighter wrinkles too much, looking for the biggest and compare a value scale from darkest to lighter. So you don't want to make it all so dark. Now the mouth, okay, coming on this side, and here you go, like that. And we can come back to do a little bit more adjustment. Okay, the mouth right over here. Now this is good. The jawline coming up over here, and the ear is a little bit lower than the nose because her face a little bit looking up. So that's good. Now I'm gonna continue draw a little bit more like that. And the ear and the top a little bit lower than the eyebrows. So right over here, that's good. Right over there, I use watercolor as my drawing. It's try to make it a little bit simpler. Okay, now I'm looking for the head. I'm gonna putting some other things in to the painting, like coming down this way. Here you go. You need to ignore other things that is not at the point that you need to concern about, like this. Okay, I think coming over here, like that. And then the head, here you go. You can exaggerate some of the accessory, like the head. You can exaggerate it if you want, but it's okay. Coming on this side. Now we are about getting all the location properly. And you're probably thinking about, where do you get that calligraphy brush? It seems like a very easy to use and draw. And I will have the link in the video descriptions. And if you remember, if you're looking for this brush, I still have a few you can order from Enjoying Art. I'm gonna have this a little bit lighter. That's good. Easy to erase it. Okay, now I'm getting there. That's good. I'm gonna getting over here and then looking for the shoulder. Try not to overdo the thing that you don't need to at this point. And then looking at this side of the shoulder and coming up a little bit more like this. Okay, I think there's probably a little turn on this side based on the proportion anatomy. And here you go. And then coming over here, I'm adding the missing part, like that. Okay. And then I'm also going to draw a little bit of the earring. So I'm going to leave enough space on that. That's good. A little bit over here. I'm going to just add a little bit brown color right over here for now. And as you're doing more, you know where and how to leave some of the shapes that is not supposed to be doing and covering, and you can do that a little bit later. I think the proportion looks good. I'm going to keep it this way. I'm not going to change it much. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start painting into the face. I think the proportion is very much correct. First, I'm going to put the local color for the whole face first. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit yellow color, very much like a brown color, but I'm going to add a little bit more yellow and red color. And that is just the skin tone. I only use the three primary colors, the Winsor Yellow, Winsor Red, and the Present Blue or Winsor Blue green shade. Okay, now I'm going to start putting this light shade in here. I'm going to painting around the eye, like that, looking for the shapes No worry. We have plenty of technique. We can correct it. Okay. Here you go. Looking for the shape of the eye. Looking for that painting around. Make sure there's enough water in the paint so that it will stay wet a little bit longer. Okay, on this side. That's good. Coming to the ear. At the ear, I think a little bit wider. Here you go. Like that. And the nose. The nose a little bit more red. So that's coming down here like that. It's not really that scary to the portrait. It's the process is most important. And what you should look at and what you should look at next is important that go with the process. Okay. And changing a process, especially for some of you that have been using the same process for like 20 years, right? So it's not easy to change it, but you need to constantly be reminded working in the same community, it would help. So that's why we have the Enjoying Art artist community. So come to join us if you think it may help you to save time and also make the painting learning more enjoyable. Okay, now we have this, and that's the base of color. And I'm going to use this small brush and just going to soften a little bit over here for the texture. Just for now, I would make more changes later. Okay, and also going to just remove some of water and just going to remove some color, so make it a little bit lighter and above the nose over here and the lower eyelid, move it a little bit, make it a little bit lighter, a little bit over here. That's good for now, but the whole face now looks very flat, and so we don't want it to be so flat. In that case, we're going to come back to making the face and the head to be more rounded and create a form, the turning around. That's very important. So I'm going to add a little bit color to the head like this. Come to join us. The address is enjoyingart.com, and then click on the button say become a member, and we are painting together every Friday, and I can watch you when you're painting, and I can give you suggestions on how to change some of the old habit. Okay, I'm gonna paint some color outside, so I'm gonna just pick the similar color. And I'm gonna see how I'm gonna change it. When you squint your eye, you can see our next important step is to make the form look dimensional. Okay, like this. Look around those earring. Like that. Go. Continue on this side. Like that. Okay. So the background a little bit lighter, but however should be a little bit darker than the head. But it's okay. We're gonna leave the edge a little bit softer. If we need to come back to do the second round for the background, and we can do that a little bit later. Like those is the watercolor texture effect, and it's okay for now. And now I'm going to make a little bit darker color for the shirt. Just use the green shade Windsor blue with the red, it will become a dark color. And if you're using different blend, you know that the color, it will be very different. It may be act very different as well. Maybe not as much as you can lift up as you would see me be able to lift up with the paint and the tools that I use. Okay, you know, this is only the first round primary. And leave the edge a little bit softer, it's totally fine. The person in the picture is a good friend of a member. Now I very much cover all the spaces for now. Now what I am going to do at this point, I'm going to soften this. Just use the clean brush, make it a little bit softer. And the edge, also the hair over here, just lift it up so it looks like a very soft edge. So showing like the feeling of the very soft right here. Lift up a little bit over here, like that. Make this a little bit lighter. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do, this is all dry already. Use this calligraphy brush, and the value is very, very dark. I'm going to have a little bit more blue right under the head. Okay, right over here. Okay, you go. Okay, I'm squinting my eye. I'm looking for a little bit more yellow and a little bit more red. Here you go. I'm gonna putting the color on this side a little bit darker, like that. Not looking for small area, but looking for more of the shape. So I'm gonna take this color a little bit lighter. Here you go, on the forehead. I'm gonna just clean brush. Look at that. I'm gonna continue coming down and take this color, the yellow, a little bit red. So coming down on this side. Now looking for the face. I'm gonna make sure I have the face a little bit more, look a little bit more rounded. I take the red color, a little bit more red color on the cheek, and also the red color on this side of the cheek, and also on the nose. Okay. Now just use the brush with water. Try to pay attention to the form, okay, not the wrinkle or the small shape. And also on this side of the above the mouth, and also need a little bit darker on this side. You can see the face need to turn over, so the light side on this side, the other side would be shadow side. And I'm gonna continue over here. Not the smaller shape was like including the wrinkle and other shape. Looking for. Okay, on this side of the mouth, also more rounded. That's the nose. Okay, here you go. I'm gonna have this a little bit softened. Like that. That's good. I'm gonna just take the red color coming on this side. Also this a little bit. softer like that. So leave the top over here a little bit lighter. Keep squinting your eye. You don't see my eye, but you can imagine I have my eye almost like closed. And soften that a little bit. You don't need to over soften it. And we can have another round to do that. And then under here, there's a little bit darker. And under the neck, the whole neck over here, a little bit darker. So I'm going to take this color, holding over here, a little bit darker. See that? I'm not doing the smaller area. So, okay, coming on this side, here you go. Like that. Good. I'm going to have a little bit softer transition. Like that, that's good. And when you squint your eye, you don't really see those small shapes, small lines. Okay, now I'm gonna come back over here. I'm gonna extend the color coming down with this color, more like a warm brown color. So get a little bit yellow and a little red coming on this side. That's good. Now I'm gonna have this connect to this. That's good. All right. So now you see the face actually a little bit more turning over. So I'm gonna come in on this side. This should be also connected to, looks like the sideburn, the hair, and the ear. Like that. I have that color coming out a little bit more. Like that. That's good. And I'm gonna add just a little bit touch of red color. Just a little bit. Okay, sometimes you don't really need that much color. Okay, look at the mouth. Just set a little color here. We come back to do a little more later. Like that. It's too much. Okay. To this corner. And here you go. Try to connect with the feeling. The lower lip. Okay, that's okay. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. That's good. Keep that smile in your head because it's very important as a personality. Okay. Like this. That's good. Pick that color on this side, a little bit for the nostril on here. Okay. And I'm going to just lightly add a little shape on the side over here. Just a little reminder. Okay, on this side. Okay. That's good. Coming to the bottom over here. Need to have a little bit darker. Okay. And I think this should come up a little bit. So just use the water to extend the color a little bit up, a little bit higher. All right, we're going to do some adjustment right after. So we're going to get away from the face and come back a little bit later. So I'm going to add a little blue color. And in here. So you don't need to like control by the accident, control by the water effect. Kind of, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. That is something coming up I don't want, it's okay. You can fix that later, right? Not a big deal. But if you stop and change your from big to small process, you're gonna too early to pay attention to the smaller space, and which is you're not supposed to in the early part. It's just leave it there. Yeah, come back to do that later. As you see that, and the edge over here, it's very easy to change that a little bit later. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit red color. Okay, here you go. I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna leave a little gap. I don't want to touch into that wet color yet. I'm gonna have a little bit red color, a little bit different. And like the head like this. Just put the color here first and do the changes a little bit later. Okay, something over here too. Like that. Having the color in the places. Okay, I have a little bit like this. Like that. Okay, now to making the outside shape a little bit better, I just gonna put another color a little bit darker right on the top, and that would fix the issues, right? It's that easy. Okay, now we get the form back. Okay, I'm gonna get a little yellow color and just going to extend that. It's okay. I don't have to make it all even. That's good. Now we get the edge back. I'm gonna do a little bit adjustment. Like on the top over here, I'm gonna have a little bit clean a little bit. Just use the corner of this flat brush. Okay. That. I'm looking for the form. So the cheek over here should be a little bit softer. Okay, that's good. Try to make it feel like it's the skin, a soft skin. Right? Now you can see that is everything has its timing. Okay, you don't want to try to do everything at once. And a little bit here, a little bit later. Use a brush that has a little bit more hair like this flat brush. It actually would work much better. A lot more control. And that's good. That's good. Like that. And then and the cheek I probably add a little bit more red to it a little bit later. Okay, like that. That's good. And the top over here, I'm also going to clean up a little bit. Like that. Okay, now on the chin over here, this a little bit softer. And this a little bit cleaner. Remove some a little color here. That's good. And on this side, you see this plane and facing to the side over here. So I'm going to clean that a little bit. Well, now you can probably feel better. On this side, I'm going to have a little bit reflected light. It looks like a little bit more green or blue colors. I'm going to have a little bit lighter and showing that the light coming from the side, the reflected light. Okay, coming like this. Looks good. And over here too, for the hair, I'm gonna have this a little bit softer, showing that. Okay, Okay, that's good. Put a little bit light color on the T. It's not really white. It's have a little bit like a light brown color. Like that. That looks good. I can see that there's this color, and I can see that on the ear and the bottom over here. Just put it there. That's good. That's the ear. I'm gonna looking for, maybe at this time I'm gonna paint it the earring. So I wanna paint it around the earring, and it would feel a little bit better. So I'm gonna have a little yellow color mixed into here, like a little brown color. Here you go. Okay, looking for the smaller shape, like here you go, like that. Now looking for a little shape, and so we have a little white shape. You could using masking to mask the shape of the earring for easier, so you can leave something that that you take care of that later after you take care of the big area. So I'm gonna have a little bit more red on this side, on the other side, right over here. It's more like a rounded area. Here you go. Leave a little white in between, like that, and have a little bit shape on the other side. That's good. So I'm gonna paint it the dark color back to it a little bit later. So here you go. Like that. On the other side, I'm gonna have a little bit softer. Is showing the materials. That's good. That's good for now. Okay, have a little bit light color on the edge. Okay, now that's the ear. After this dry, I'm come back to painting around, so I'm gonna get that. Oh, so I'm going to also coming into the neck over here. I'm gonna have this a little bit softer. You know that after you soften an area with water, you would expecting the areas is wet, so you need the time let it to dry if you want to have some definitions coming back a little bit later. So I'm gonna have this also need to a little bit later, so it's easier to adjust the color as well with watercolor. And if you want to make some area a little bit lighter, it's not painting with the white color on top of it. So this, well, for watercolor, I would like to just use the water to lift it up, make it a little bit lighter. That's easy, right? So I'm gonna tap a little bit red. You see that very little red color. Put over here. I can have this red color spread into this space. So now the color temperature has been changed. Now I have just more like a red color, right? It's very simple, straightforward. And the top over here, I'm gonna have this also. After the first round, when you do the color again, and it seems like a more controllable and more stable. Always looking for the big shape. Look at the face now. It's a lot more like it's with the form that it's supposed to be. How the cheek, how the nose coming up, and so on. So now at this point, I'm gonna have a little bit red color. I'm gonna take a little red color and coming to the nose here at the bottom. The nose also need a little bit more rounded. So I'm gonna just with a clean brush, I'm gonna connect that red color coming up. That's considered a little bit smaller changes. Now I'm looking for this some very smaller shape like the nose over here. It should not be that dark, right? You don't want to come into make it too dark, too much, uh, because the form, the shape is very important. And like see, this is a little bit darker than the other smaller wrinkles and around it. So you need to make sure that it has the hierarchy and what is become more important. Now I'm gonna come into the eyebrows over here. Okay, and we're getting there. You can see that we can go step by step, get a little bit closer and closer. Okay, so always start from more like a vague impression. Start from the feeling, start from the outside, gradually moving into close up to the details. Okay, next what I'm going to do, I'm going to start working into a little bit into the eye. Well, don't want to start too early. And then I'm going to get this a little gray color. Things color can be a little bit lighter. So I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. That's good. Looking for the location. Here you go. Looking for that one. Interesting. Looking for the iris. Now you can see the location of the eye, and then working inside the eye will become very simple. Now that's one, and then coming on this side. I'm gonna leave the highlight in the middle of the iris, like that. That's good, right? I'm gonna have a little bit more brownish color, and because that's have some skin color, like that. And I'm gonna have a little bit more red. And looking for that is right over here, right? And there's a little bit more red at the corner. Right, we do that a little bit later. Okay. Now, what's the next thing? I'm gonna have a little bit more red. I'm gonna take the red color right over here. That's good. On this side, like that. That's good. And the iris still a little wet, so I don't want to do too much around the iris because it will make the colors very messy. So I'm gonna get the a little bit light brown color on the lower eyelid. Put a little color over here first, a little color over here. Look at this beautiful calligraphy brush. It just make your paintings a lot more efficient and right. And I'm gonna get a little bit light of this. Here you go. Here you go. Okay. The wrinkle, but the wrinkle should not be so dark. And coming on this side. Now gradually we are moving in. And I'm gonna put a little color just for now, maybe a little bit too early, but I'm gonna put that into the nostril. Okay. Okay, right over here. Okay, now I'm gonna come to the corner of the mouth. There's a little triangle right over here. It's very important when you do whatever painting you do, you should not be afraid of it. It should be like I say, have a full confidence. And you know you're gonna get to it. And you're not gonna give up. You're not gonna stop in the middle of pursuing into the goal. Right? And all you need to do is to learn the process and practice the process. And you can get to the point. You can paint as free as how I would feel. I'm gonna have this color right underneath. This edge is still very wet. So come back to that a little bit later. Now coming to the top over here, and a little bit more blue, and all in your mind is only about the 3 primary colors. Okay, like that. Soften that a little bit, let that merge onto. And there's a lots of detail we need to take care of, but that will be later. Okay, not at this point. Now I'm gonna moving into, and maybe I'm gonna going over here, paint it in the little darker shade for around the earring. So I'm gonna take these 2 colors together. Now we get the colors really quick. Now let's see and take a look. When you look at here, looking for the space in between this, the mouth and the jar, so you can always come to correct it if it's not correct in the later process. I'm gonna coming down over here. Here you go. Painting around it. Okay, here you go. Like that. And a little bit gap over here. Here you go. Okay, that's good. Like that. And coming to this side. Now we're looking for the edge of the face. Can come in a little bit more. Like that. That's good. Because later on you always have the time and opportunity to correct it, right? It's not bad. Okay, like that. Okay, now I'm gonna painting around here. It's good. Now I'm gonna use a little bit larger brush. Ooh, because the water dripping down over here, so I have the texture. This is very easy. Just soften it. So don't panic. Nothing out of control. Okay, a little bit softer. And even I have this color coming in to this side. Like that. Okay, like that. Okay. Now I'll come back with the larger brush. I'm gonna take this color. There you go. And a little bit connect to that. Just use the side. Okay. Connect that over here. Just use the side. And probably this is good for the clothing. We don't want to give too much definitions. Like that. That's good. All right. Now I'm going to come back to the head. I'm going to add a little bit blue color. So be patient. It's very important. Right over here. Your painting process is always like a circular, like from one space and going to the other space, but your observations always like going around. So make your entire painting in your mind as a whole. Okay, coming over here. It's not disjointed. They are connected. Okay, that's good. When we move that, okay, I'm gonna have a little bit of this, and it's showing there's a little turning. So this brush is very easy to do the edge blending as you paint. Okay, Okay, now I'm gonna coming down on this side over here. I'm gonna have the a little bit lighter. I'm gonna lift up a little bit lighter, just showing the little bit toning on this side. And I'm gonna have a little bit blue color and showing over here a little bit darker, like that. A little bit blue color right over here. So turn this flat color into a little bit more dimensional. Okay, like that. Okay, now I'm gonna coming into the face again. I'm gonna first looking for this form. So that is very, very important to capture this for the personality. Okay, that's good. Okay, and I'm gonna soften a little bit on this side. Okay, that's all right. And I'm gonna come back to the eye. Now, I'm gonna have a little bit more red on this side. And a little bit more red on this corner. That's good. And there's a little shade. And on over here, a little bit darker, like that, coming through here. And also on the eyebrows over here, a little bit darker. Okay, like that. And gradually making it more specific details. And now I'm gonna have a little bit darker. Okay, I'm gonna have a little bit darker. Must have a little blue color. Okay, now on this side, look at that, there at the corner. I will have this reference in the member area under the reference images. So you can go there if you want to paint with me to learn how to paint this beautiful woman, and you can follow this step. Okay, like that. That's good. A little bit darker on this side. Okay. And in the middle, I have a darker dot in the middle. That will be later. Okay, now I'm looking for a little bit more specific and going down. And I'm going to have a little bit red color. So you see that this area actually have a little bit red. Now I see a little bit more shapes. And I have a little bit more red color. I'm going to, not too much, a little bit red color right over here. Now you can see that. I can soften this and let the red color spread. Also over here too, have a little bit more red. Okay, that's good. Have a little bit. A little bit, like a little deeper. Okay, now I'm gonna give it a little bit warmer, actually. A little bit shape over here. And very, even it's a very subtle shape, anything that you put on the paper, it will connect with imagination. So if you have textures there, and the texture was suggesting and something important for you to that you want to show. And now the ear over here, I'm gonna have a little bit warmer. Use the ear always a little bit more red. Okay, like that. Now seeing in this area, it looks like a little bit more of the hair. I'm gonna have a little bit more yellow brown color. Okay, put this color here first, and then I'm going to just soften that color coming up So feel like this is the hair, the sideburn, okay, like that. So that's a good, very well suggested. And now I'm going to have a little bit red color. Actually, I'm going to come in a little bit more over here because I don't want to show the face a little bit more, a little bit too wide. Okay, that's good, like that. That's good. Moving that in. That's good. Maybe a little bit lighter value and coming out like this. And I'm going to use this fiber shape flat brush. Okay, I'm going to have this. Actually, the paper I'm using is Artist watercolor paper pad. So it's holding up the color very well with this paper. And also, and can afford a lot of different rounds of different techniques of watercolor painting. Now I created here coming out. I even have it a little bit more. It's very easy to do that. That's good. Okay, now coming in, let's do a little bit to the T. Okay, I'm looking for that color. It looks like this color, but have a little bit more red. Okay, like that. Good. Before you give suggestions to individual too, you better to take care of the whole thing as one group of T. Okay, so I'm gonna have a little gap over here like that. Oh, that's good. I give it a little bit individual features a little bit later. So like that. And on the side over here, it actually have a little bit shadow. So I'm going to add a little bit shadow over here. Like that, that's good. Okay. That's maybe a little bit too much. Remove that. And now I'm going to come into the lip. I'm going to have a little bit red color over here. Now here you go. Look for the shape. And coming up and down a little bit thicker on the upper lip. That's good. Like that. Just leave the fun in the later part of the process. Okay. A little bit like that. Connect that. There's the upper lip. Okay, that can be a little bit thicker. That's good. Now looking for the lower lip. Okay, now coming on this side. You don't want to make the lip, the edge, with a very clear dividing line. They're actually very softly connected into the outside skin. Like that. They're actually pretty good. And looking for a little bit on the side over here on the top. And a little curve like that. They're showing the personality of the person. Okay, now I'm going to give it, on the chin, I can see that a little bit darker, but also a little bit more red. So put a little red color in here. That's good. Now also in here, have a little bit shape, a little bit different. Now I'm going to soften that. Coming to. That's good. Like that. And at the bottom over here, I'm going to have a little bit darker, have a little bit softer transition right in here. Take a look on this side, this way. Okay, like that. Here you go. And I think over here, I need to clean a little bit because the side of the face is a little bit more straight. So I come back with this brush. Now you can see the process should be worryless. Method is always start looking for the bigger relationship and going smaller and smaller, and say the wrinkle like over here on the face, and that will be later, right? It's very easy to do. And now at this point, before I forget, I'm going to make a little bit shading on this side, showing a little bit darker. You can see that darker, a little bit lighter at the front. The same thing as the face, and the lighting affecting the whole person in a very consistent manner. Okay, now I'm going to looking for the edge, looking for the nose. I'm going to give it a little bit lighter over here. I'm going to use this brush. It's a little bit faster. And here you go. Now, here you go. I have the link that you can buy this brush from Amazon or from Brick if you are in the US. Okay. Like that. Now I'll come in over here to add a little bit important wrinkle, like the side of the, and I'm going to talk about some secondary shapes. Like over here, I'm going to have a little bit this kind of very light color. See that? You don't want to make those stand out too much. There's actually, if you squint your eye, you may not really see this. So that is very soft. And now I'm gonna have a little color on the lower eyelid. Okay, here you go. And on the upper eyelid. Now have a little bit. And for the eyebrows, now you can continue closing up. Okay, over here. On the other side, I'm gonna have a little bit yellow with a little red. So look a little bit more like a light brown color, a little bit more red. That's good. Okay, now looking for this little shape like that. That's good. And a little shape like that. And a little wrinkle on the corner over here. But those are not really should be so clear or so defined. And looking for the lower eyelid. Here you go. Like that. I'm going to have a little bit warmer color. At the beginning, you're always looking for the shape, the whole form of the face. You make sure you see that actually you're turning over. It's actually showing that actually turning, as otherwise your portrait will look too flat. Okay, I'm gonna have this little red color, and I'm gonna change the temperature a little bit blue over here. Now connect that over here like that, and showing the shape of the nose like that. Okay, that's good. And now I'm gonna coming into add some soft wrinkle. Like this would be the right color. So you don't need to finish one thing all the way because you need to let the paper to dry and then come back and always like in around and around kind of process. So those are very light. Here you go. Okay, a little bit, not really too dark. some much lighter. Here you go. I'm gonna have a little bit warmer as close to the cheek. Okay, like this. A little bit wrinkle over here. Now we're closing up to finish, and I'm gonna have a little bit, just a very light, like that. Okay, a little bit on the edge over here. Those are secondary details, so you don't need to do it too early, like that. And over here it has an edge a little bit darker, showing the jar a little bit more rounded. And now come back here to the neck, and I'm going to make this a little bit softer, make it a little bit lighter. Lifting technique is very important for watercolor painting to retain the transparency, translucent effect for the translucent watercolor painting. Okay, that's good. Right, now I'm gonna come in here. Actually, I'm gonna make this a little bit darker. Start from a little blue, like that. That's from dark to light. Now it's very easy for that. That's good. And on the other side, I'm also going to have a little bit soft color right over here. I'm gonna have a little bit lighter. There you go. Gradually let it come out like this. Softly blend it over. That's good. After that dry, I can give a little bit definition. So this will be good. I'm gonna come into have a little bit suggestions here, like that. That's good. That's good enough. A little bit detail, like that. Make it looks interesting enough. Coming back to the middle of the eye, you see that's always a circular process. Okay, no worry. Just one step at a time from the outside, gradually getting inside and details. Now I'm gonna add a little very dark color right over here. Okay, on this side, like that. Ooh, that's nice. And now, in the corner of the eye, has a little bit warm gray color, like this, the color, right over here. See that? That is just to catch the shadow from the eyelid. Okay, there's color coming over here. And let's see a little bit the similar color over here. See this, and gradually turn and lost it. And I'm gonna have a little bit warm color in the corner over here, like that. Okay, now I'm gonna come back to the nostril. It's a little bit more rounded, a little bit more red, like that. That looks good. And Now I'm gonna have a little bit, and right underneath showing the tuning. There you go, like that. A little bit over here too. A little bit higher the corner. Now come back to maybe give a little bit suggestions to the T. Like that. Looking for the middle. This. Okay, that's good. But that's definitely too obvious. See that when we're doing this, and the neck waiting for us to come back, but not just yet. Let me give a little color on the side over here. Give a little better suggestions where the outside. Also use the outside color suggesting the on the face, the edge of the face, the contour of the face, like that. And I think this can be a little bit softer. Just use this calligraphy brush, move it a little bit, and it will just work. Okay. And on the head, I think it's a little bit too plain, so I'm gonna add a little bit of shape like that. Actually, this looks interesting. Okay, keep it like that. And now I'm gonna come to the neck, and it's very easy. And have a little yellow mixed with this color, and I can see that there's a little bit. Observation is very important, but understanding the person personality is also important, because that is use it as the guide for you to looking for the things, the shapes, and the transition to support your understanding. Okay, over here a little bit darker, like that, a little bit, and a little bit on this side, like that. That's good. Now coming on this side, here you go. A little bit line the shape, and here you go. Those are a little folding, but should not be too obvious. Okay, like that. Coming on this side. There you go. Like that. A little bit over here. A little bit coming on this side. And under here, it has a little bit warmer color right over here. Here you go. And I think that's good. A little bit warmer color right over here, showing the form like this. And here you go. Okay, I'm gonna have a very light color and give a little suggestions for some folding on the skin. Like that. Softer a little bit. Now I come back to the earring. I'm gonna have a little yellow color over here. And I'm gonna have a little blue color on the other side. Okay, like this. Okay. That's good. Now I'm gonna have a little bit green color and just make it look like see-through the background. So I'm gonna have a little bit of the similar color as the outside. Okay. And I think this painting is finished. Now you see, no matter what we do, it always from general to specific. It always from the big proportion to smaller. And always aware of the form, the shapes, before you're looking at the smaller wrinkles. If you're not a member of the Enjoying Art community, come to join us now. And every Friday, we're going to have 2 sections of painting hours for our members to join together. Enjoy the painting process. See you in my next video.